Okay, page 29, 7 in practice. I bow down to the youthful magician. You, the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, call to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy or aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle are Buddhas numberless as particles, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas. I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With the infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the essence of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugardhas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense are offered to you victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offering and spectacular array offered to you victorious ones. Where transcendent offerings peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all Buddhas. Action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all these are openly laid bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as in 10 directions, of solitary realizers, hearers still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize Parinirvana, please stay with us for aeons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offerings, and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all these for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, next page, model offering, short model offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practices on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming utterly frustrated with ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate a genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality, on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of the place of emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandela Omniradeya Me. 34. The foundation of all good qualities, the main practice. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. These blessed meditators train in Supreme Bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if we develop bodhicitta but I don't practice the three types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I've pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within the mind stream the unified path of karma abiding special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows as Maya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pleasures like my life. Then having realized the importance of the two stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives, please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stations and the paths, may quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Okay, next mantra we will say the English first one, followed by the Tibetan. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the stages of the land of snows, love Sangtava at your feet and make prostrations. Okay, now generating mind consummate yoga. The main practice, for that we have the 4 points to practice. One is a single point of meditation, renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom. Single point of meditation, that is for 5 minutes, and the renunciation on the basis of the 4 seals. Bodhicitta on the basis of the four immeasurables. And then the wisdom emptiness. Okay. Then followed by taking the aspiration bodhisattva. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, now a very quick reminder of the points for the single point of meditation: body posture, focal point, identifying the errors of meditation, and applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Body posture, cross-legged, body upright, and your head tilted forward a little bit, and eyes not closed, eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down. The tip of the tongue touching the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in the mouth. And the teeth and the lips in the natural course, breathe naturally. And right hand on the left hand, and the tips of two thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place then two hands on the laps in a restful state. This is body posture. Focal point. We're going to focus on a very tiny dot, tiny white dot, 1 mm or 2 mm in diameter between nose and upper lip. Multitasking. While you focus your mind there on this tiny dot, count your breath. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle 1. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle 2. We're going to do this for 5 minutes. So approximately it's going to be between like 70 cycles to like 100 and 103 or 100. Okay. Then number 3 and number 4, so important. Even those who are meditating, even those who are doing your meditation on a daily basis, we need to keep in mind number 3 and number 4. Number 3, identifying the errors of meditation. What errors, mistakes, problems can arise as you do meditation, and many people failing to identify these errors, they just continue to practice, and it builds up a very bad habit. And once this bad habit is cultivated, then it is like a medicine turning into poison. So therefore we should be very careful to make sure that the errors should be identified. The once you identify the errors, then apply the remedies. Okay, so the errors: 2, mental excitement and mental laxity. Excitement is where your mind is overactive, getting scattered here and there, and the laxity is where your mind becomes sloppy, your mind becomes lethargic, heavy, and mental sick. Should any of these two things happen, don't continue with this, just go for number 4. Apply the remedies. Applying the remedies to overcome the errors. And the remedies: 2, introspection and mindfulness. Introspection is keeping an eye on your mind once in a while to see if your mind is still meditating or distracted, excited, or in a relaxed state. Should you see that distracted or in a relaxed state, then the job of the introspection is done. Next is the job of the mindfulness. Bring the mind back to the intended object, make it more alert, fresh, and the focus on object, and continue practice. Okay, this is what we do for 5 minutes. Ready? next is renunciation on the basis of the four seals. And the four seals, this practice which we did now is a single point of meditation. Then the renunciation practice, bodhicitta practice, wisdom practice. These three are analytical meditation. For that matter, so your mind should be as active as possible, as active to reflect on the various points. So without these points to reflect on, the meditation is not going to be for any success. Whereas for single point of meditation, you don't require any active thought processes to reflect on many points. Just focus one point, that's it. Just stay there. This is single point of meditation. Whereas for the single point of meditation helps support the transformation of your mind. And what actually transforms is the analytical meditation. Let us not forget that. What actually transforms is the analytical meditation. So, both are required. And for the analytical meditation, your mind should be extremely, extremely active. You should have rich materials to think, to reflect on, to analyze. So without the rich materials, then as you do it, the day one is fine, day two is fine, then gradually you'll find that it's so mechanical, it's just one of few reasons, and then emptiness, in few seconds you finish meditation. You have nothing to meditate. It's because we are not rich in the meditation materials. So for that matter, we need to have extensive studies, so precious. For renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness, their extensive study is so important that we need to think of the various points. We should be really rich in the materials to reflect on. Okay, so the renunciation, and there are many ways of doing this. One of which is so popular amongst the various traditions, be it Theravada tradition, Chinese Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, and particularly in Tibetan Buddhism, the lemon practice is very popular. So the lemon practice, actually we see that it's all coming out from the four seals, practice of four seals. So we will do the four seals, and for your own practice later on, you do it and you see how difficult it is, and how difficult, and the points of reflection, you may be lacking the points of reflection. So for that matter, you will see the importance of the more extensive learning. Okay, so ready? Renunciation. Renunciation, meaning of the renunciation is not meant to renounce your happiness, but is to renounce your miseries, renounce your fears. To renounce the miseries and the fears, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries. For the Buddha said, Ye dharma hedu prabhava. All these phenomena, they arise from the respective causes. They don't arise randomly. So we need to tackle the causes. To tackle the causes of the miseries, to tackle the causes of the fears, the best way by which to do so is by meditating on the four seals. The first seal, all composite things are impermanent. The misconception of seeing impermanent things as permanent is one of the greatest sources of the miseries. While in reality, all composite things are impermanent. The impermanence is of two kinds, the gross and the subtle. Impermanence of death. This is inevitable. Unwittingly it arises. The people who existed on this earth, perhaps in this very place where we are doing the meditation now, 200 years ago, minimum like 5 or 4 billion human beings on this earth. Where are they now? Not even a single person left. And how many of them do we remember? We remember only a few of them. Only a few of them, like Abraham, Jacob, then the Buddha, Mahavir, then the Ram, and Prophet Muhammad, Guru Nanak, and Zoroaster, Baha'u'llah. We just remember some of these great figures. Otherwise, where the rest of the 5 billion human beings on this earth, we don't remember, forget about remembering their names, their details. We don't even remember where they are, who they are. This impermanence. And today, they're so full of life in this world, in Israel, in these kibbutz. But 20 years later, from now, guaranteed, not even a single person is going to be left. This is reality. So if that happens, we hear about, oh, this person died, that person died, and so forth. One day it's going to be my time. One day it's going to be each one of our time, where we're going to be, that people will say, oh, this person passed away, Dorji passed away, this person passed away. This is what is bound to happen. It's quite scary. While we have a tremendous potential is there, and we have, as human beings, we have this faculty of thinking, very powerful faculty of sharp thinking is there. While this potential is there, we just let go of this, going to waste without exerting them into a very meaningful purpose. So this is very scary to see how we waste alive. And this impermanence that you see, the gross impermanence, a beautiful sunset, and in the night it disappears. Beautiful spring and summer, it disappears, and autumn, winter. Beautiful youth, it disappears in old age. And coming together of the people, this beautiful coming together of the people, this evening will be dispersed. And the accumulation of wealth will end in exhaustion. And birth ends in death. This is the mark of the impermanence. And all this, the gross impermanence that we see, which is quite scary to think of, which is quite painful to think of, is marked by the subtle impermanence, the momentary change, all composite things, whether they encompass the gross impermanence or the subtle impermanence, all are marked by the subtle impermanence, momentariness in the moment there. Momentariness means that it never stays in one position. It moves to the next moment. And the next moment becomes the result, and the earlier moment becomes the cause. In other words, all momentary phenomena, the impermanent phenomena, they are marked by the cause and effect. So what the effect is going to be like is determined by the cause. In our case, we aspire a state of fearlessness. We aspire a state of happiness. But will they arise? Unfortunately, if the cause is contaminated, if the cause is negative, we can't expect fearlessness, we can't expect the infinite happiness. Instead, as opposed to the fearlessness, fear is attracted. As opposed to infinite happiness, the limited, very short span happiness, and in fact miseries, pains, anguish is what we experience. So in our case, unfortunately, the cause is not. Virtues which predominate is the non-virtues. It is the self-grasping ignorance and the self-centered attitude which predominate our mental state. So these are the worst contaminations, because of which the resulting experience that we can expect is only miseries. Miseries like what? Sickness, aging, death, the pain of losing near and dear ones, anguish, anxiety, stress, depression, so forth. We may have so much of merriment in our life, so much of joy, fun, and so forth. But to be very honest, one moment of those acute pain is good enough. Just one moment is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of happiness, merriment, joy, excitement, and so forth. The moment we go through one moment of this pain, the whole past experiences of the happiness, fun and so forth will become so shallow and meaningless and luminous, so shallow, so superficial. This is who we are, all could have